I grew up in New York City, so very, very far away from Northwest Territories, and I never imagined myself working in a place like that. I wasn't an inside person, but I was a city person. I always wanted to be, a part of history or see history in the making. And there were all these issues and conflicts and social problems that I cared about, and I wanted to photograph them and try to make a difference in that way. I cared about climate change in an abstract way. I got this assignment to photograph a 1,000-mile dog sled race across Alaska and the Canadian Yukon. As I was photographing this dog sled race, in every community, people would talk about how the ice roads are melting, or the mushers would talk about how they can't keep their food safe because their ice cellars are melting. These are the people on the front line of the climate crisis. They're going to be the most impacted. That story made me care. One of the most iconic species of the North that is incredibly important to people is caribou. It's cultural and it's spiritual. The hides, they'll pray for the community's well-being, and they'll pray for the caribou moms when it's calving season. It's just something that's so wrapped up in people's culture, and communities really depend on caribou for subsistence. It's sort of a really cool form of sovereignty and food sovereignty, but also indigenous sovereignty, that they're now the sole owners of this reindeer herd. So when I heard about this, I was like, this is an amazing story. They gave me the go-ahead. And so this past April, I was able to go see the herd and live with the herders for a week. There's a big responsibility to tell their story correctly, to involve them in the process as much as possible, and then also just to make sure that it gets out there. People relate to people. If you can really capture a person, or if you can make images that are just so interesting or so beautiful that make people stop and pay attention, that I can spread awareness about what's happening with the climate crisis up north and just make people feel a little bit more connected to this place that's so far away, but is going to impact everyone on the planet. Working on this climate work has changed me completely, just mostly because the North has changed me completely. You're lucky when you get to be close to nature, and it's something that we just can't take for granted. But at the end of the day, I want these stories to make an impact.